as you can see, this is my Cyber-Banjo. It's actually the V2, but I'm just calling it the V1 because it's the first version that's actually been kind of where I want it to be at. Very janky still, but in this video, I'm gonna show you guys kind of how I built it. Now, this is very much still a work in progress, but I finally have it to a place where it's like where I want it, at least functional, you know? And everything's kind of working. Definitely a lot of room for improvement here. And I got some questions on Reddit and from some other people about how this all kind of works together. And it's nothing crazy, but I think in this video I'm just going to show you the basics of how I put this all together. A little bit of custom design, a little bit of just, you know, sourcing different parts. Yes, a lot of petting of the cat. And as I said, there's a lot of room for improvement. My neighbors probably fucking hate me right now. My whole goal with this Cyber-Banjo project has been to make kind of a transacoustic / electric affected banjo where you can actually have reverb, some different effects, and have kind of a futuristic sound. And as a bonus, it can also kind of produce a drone and background melodies. So you can have something to play against, which you kind of saw in that first bit of music there. That's cool. It's kind of an all-in-one music stand. Oh yeah, you can even record if you want with the Zoom. So there's a lot you can do. And I think there's a lot more I could fit into this thing eventually. The banjo is a very, very cheap K-tone. I think it was like $150. But it sounds okay, and it's good enough to be stuffed full of some electronics. So let me take you through the basic chain of what's happening here. The banjo is actually being mic'd with this tiny little mic here. We have this tiny little AD35, which is, you know, a little sticky mic. I had to put some Velcro on because it lost its stick. It kind of sticks on there, and it's able to get a general pickup on this banjo, which is kind of cool. So that routes down through this curly wire here, through the middle, and into the bottom of the Zoom recorder, H1N. This is basically the interface for this whole thing. And then once the Zoom's on, you go out from the Zoom and in to our NTS-1 Mark II, which is a really cool thing from Korg. Now the first version of this, the NTS Mark I, I guess, or just the NTS-1, also very cool, but hard to play notes on this like tape they had for the keyboard. So the Mark II has buttons instead for all the notes. And also you can do a sequence as well as an arpeggio. So that's a cool new effect. You can actually lay out, I think, an eight note sequence and have that be, you know, repeated. So a lot to play with here. So then we go out and in with an aux cable into this Lakato little portable amp. Pretty cool piece. It's bigger than the original amp that I had in there, this guy, but this is only half as powerful. This did have a nicer profile though. It like actually sat within the banjo, but it didn't really sound that great. This guy packs a bit more of a punch. So I'm gonna kind of show you how each part fits in, but to do that, I need to tear this thing down. And then as I rebuild it, I'll explain what's going on. Okay, everything is broken down. We are down to raw banjo, and then we have all the parts. So the first thing I'll show you is obviously these stupid LED lights. I thought they were just kind of funny. Since this is the Cyber-Banjo, we need some LED lights. For now it's tape, but once this is all finalized, I think I'll figure out a better system for that. Maybe also get an LED that's continuous. So for the design of this, all three of these parts, 1, 2, and 3, all need to kind of fit within the banjo. And to do that, I designed some little inset parts here where you could actually place them into the little, this is the first version, it's really bad. And the measurements were kind of wrong. Anyway, oh, there we go, that's better. That's how it fit. That was the first version. And then I kind of made the design a little bit sleeker, eliminated these corners. But that's kind of the idea. And I was able to print these in this cool gold filament, but also the black looks really cool. So yeah, here's the amp holder, which also holds the battery pack for the LED lights, little on switch. And then on this side, there's some Velcro because we'll be mounting this zoom, which connects down to the mic. And then finally, we have some Velcro here to lightly hold in, just enough, the amp. Here's some other Velcro. And then this sets pretty nicely just right in there. So this is our whole amp unit, fully assembled. We have a battery pack for the LEDs, the actual amp, the H1, and yeah, it's ready to be placed in there, so we can place that in. Nice. So before I zip tie this on, I actually need to take this unit off and install the other unit, which is this guy, because I need to actually install this one, put the power cord in, and then I can place this in. Stick it over here. All right, so this has a couple parts. It's basically the same system, same design. There's a hole back here so you can access the volume controls. The first version had a hole on the other side because you actually had to wire the mic input through the back. Overall, the Mark II is way easier because all the inputs are on one side now. So that's super nice. I didn't have to modify this side at all. Anyway, this is it. You have your aux cable here, which goes out to the speaker. We will be plugging in an aux from the H1 into the input here. Oh, almost forgot the battery pack here. I figured that I would just use this kind of battery pack with AA's because they're easily replaceable and they last a long time. So that's what we got going. Have some Velcro on to hold it in place. You can see we also have room on this side to kind of tuck all the cables. Let's put this unit in first and then I can plug in the battery. I do need to reinforce these legs. They're kind of weak and starting to break. But once the zip ties are on, they actually hold pretty firm. But there's definitely room for improvement there. So now I can put this down. I can plug that in much quicker. Now the NTS is all powered. And we should be able to pop this guy in. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Sorry for the horror sounds as the strings clash on the table. I need a better system. So it looks like everything's in. You can see how it would be difficult to plug this battery pack in if this unit was already installed though, right? Now we can actually start plugging all these things in. Let's put our aux. I just have this super small aux cable. That's gonna go in the headphone out. Nice. So now the cord is connected to the speaker. Let's take the H1 and we're gonna connect this in the in. Cool. And then this is our mic cord. Also from the cord, I guess we can route that. It'd be nice to like route it under, so it's kind of held in place. One sec. Oh no, I forgot to plug in the LEDs. Oh, we gotta do that. One sec. All right, now everything is basically in place here. All the elements are there. And before I power anything on though, I need to fasten these units onto the actual banjo using some new zip ties, and then we'll power this on. For the design here of these little legs that drop down in between the hardware here, I have these little divots built in to hopefully snap in. Once you tighten the zip tie, it'll snap in and keep it from adjusting, adjusting off the actual banjo. This design also needs to be improved. I think these divots need to be a bit deeper and maybe actually have this come out further so it's a bit stronger here. Get out of there. What are you doing? Subscribe. Everything's fastened on. Let's power it all up. So the battery pack's on. LEDs are already on. Hit the power on the amp here. Yep, we got volume. Let's see. Let's turn that down. For now, we'll turn that down. Hit the power, which is right here. And boom, we're live. And then lastly, we gotta power this up. It's alive! All right, so here it is in all its glory. Maybe I'll turn this down for a second so you can see the cool light effects. That looks pretty sweet, right? And it's also pretty wieldy, you know? It does have to go a little bit farther out from your body, but I can set it pretty comfortably in my lap, so. Let me tune up. All right, that's better. So, as you can see, so let's do a volume test. This thing can go a little bit loud, but probably not enough to compete with like a drum set. So here's off. You can hear the banjo. Pretty loud. Well, the first cool thing is using the NTS1 here, I can put on delays, reverbs, and even mods onto the sound and run what's coming through this mic and coming through the H1 here through these effects and out through the speaker. So it's nice because you can get a more concerty or ethereal, dreamy sound if you apply some of the reverb. So let's do that. Let's put some reverb on, maybe a cool like flanger or effect to give it some trippy sound, right? Because the Cyber-Banjo needs to be trippy sounding. So let's maybe get we have a chorus. Ooh, that's cool. And we can affect, our envelope here, our attack, and our delay here. That's kind of cool. Let's get some reverb on so we can activate reverb there. Let's go to like hall maybe. We got like, let's see, ooh, space. If it gets too loud and too delay-like, you will get some feedback here. So that's an issue, is that feedback. It's probably because this mic is janky. And obviously the speaker's right next to it, so that's a little problem I gotta solve. But honestly, I'm blasting it right now. If I turn down the volume a little bit on the H1 or on the speaker, that should actually fix it. That sounds pretty cool. Let's mess around with that though. I'm gonna change up the reverb. Horror. Oh. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And there's so many cool effects you can do on this. But one other really cool kind of thing that was showcased in that video I first posted is that you can set a background drone with this NTS1, or even a background arpeggio or sequencer. So that's pretty cool. So I'll just, as a last example, set a little drone and we can kind of have another jam. Let's see. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Sorry for the chaos. But I have my envelope set to open, which will hold a droning note, and as you're finding a more mellow sound, it can be kind of chaotic, especially if you don't know what you're doing like me. So we're getting there. That's a trippy kind of didgeridoo sound though. And you can hear that the banjo is actually mixed in, like the reverb, the effect. And then you can, of course, transpose it into any note. It's a fine line. Jam on that stuff all night long. All right, so that's enough of that. this is kind of where the Cyber-Banjo is at right now. I'm gonna keep trying to improve on everything on this design. Hopefully find a way to get all this much smaller and much louder and with much less feedback. So if anyone has any ideas or wants to try to kind of build on this, improve upon it, I'd be really interested to hear kind of what your thoughts are. Anyway, for now, this is working, and I've actually been able to bring this on my back in the soft case up to the top of a mountain with a buddy of mine, and we had some really cool jam sessions. Someone just hit a big ball at the big game.
Got a dinger.
Look at this game going on, dude.
That's great.